Hello, folks. We're back again. I'm doing my dance now. I'm also very sick. Not sick. I used to be sick. Can you tell from my eyes? Anyway, so I guess what we're going to do here is we're back with the off night. Hey, I remembered. And we're going to be doing a lot of stuff tonight. It's fascinating stuff. We're going to have some great stuff coming on. We have a lot to talk about. So please stay with us. And I want to introduce our MC and host, Mr. Mark Sweetman.
Oh, MC2, huh? I like that. All right.
Might as well, man. Give you the whole thing.
Awesome. And you know what? Normally we chat around a little bit, but I'm going to bring Sam right out here. Oh, we lost Sam. All right, I guess we're going to chat around a little bit till Sam gets back on.
Oh man,
he was right there. Yeah, it's on the printer.
Oh my God, how do you lose Sam? You can't lose him.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't see him. Anyway,
well, I was watching the fugitives, those two fugitives. The one,
so we're talking about the prisoner.
The prisoner,
the guard who helped him escape. Now, what state did they start in?
Alabama. Now, Alabama. I swear to God, there was a picture of John Hamm, and I think the guy to me looks like John Hamm. John Hamm did a picture in one of these TV shows where he's like a prison guy. I tell you, put them right next to each other. It looks like John Hamm, you know?
Okay.
And there was that TV show where the three women were in the bunker, and John Hamm had a control over them. It was the
what was that?
Tina Fey one.
Tina Fey show, with
Dirty Rock.
No, the one where she's in the bunker. John Hamm is keeping her in a bunker. She gets out. She moves to New York.
Yeah.
There's the gay guy and Carol Kane that she hangs out with.
Yeah. That's a great show.
Kimmy Schmidt. The unsinkable Kimmy Schmidt.
So he played the guy who was holding him.
Yes.
I tell you, if you take a picture of him when he got, they look just like each other.
You're right. I don't want to talk about this without Sammy here. So let's get Sam on here, and then we'll Susan read her poem, and we'll be on our way. So here's Sam. We lost you there for a second, buddy. Oh,
yeah, I'm here.
Like you're on the move.
I'm here. No, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to make
I should get closer to my router, but I can't. If I was any closer to my router, I'd be in it. So.
Okay, I'm going to disappear for a sec.
That's funny. All right. Well, since we got everyone here, and it's a big news week, and we're probably going to be talking a lot about what's been going on in the news, let's get Susan in here with her poem. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my bride of 39 years, Susan Sweetman.
Hello.
And mother.
I sent it to the printer, but Mark didn't bring it.
I didn't go to the printer yet. I've been trying to keep the car.
So I have it on my handy dandy device here.
There you go.
Okay. So, of course, busy news week can't fit everything in, and Mark rarely sends me a list, including today. So,
complain.
You have an agenda that you guys want to use. It shouldn't just be my poem.
I let your poem create the agenda.
Yeah. Lazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Mark research.
Here we go. The poem of the week.
May I remind you that you're talking to comedians here? All right.
Is she done yet?
Crying out loud. Can she milk it anymore?
Well, I was delaying so he could go get the poem off the printer, but that hasn't happened. So,
all right, sorry, I'll go get the goddamn poem.
The Kentucky. All right, are we ready?
We're ready.
The Kentucky Derby race, first of the Triple Crown courses, ran Saturday with all those beautiful horses. The long shot, Rich Strike, almost did not run. Last minute winner paid 80-1. Nevada's Lake Mead's water's level keeps dropping. More human remains were found there. They keep popping. The war continues to rage on in the Ukraine. Putin claims Nazi problem. Could he be insane? An earthquake struck off the coast of Taiwan this morning. Tsunami threat low, but does it give us a warning? Supreme Court leak, is that really the topic? The decision's the point. Let's not be microscopic. A decision to overturn Roe is quite shoddy. Should the government have control of your body?
All right.
That's the poem.
Susan Sweetman's poem and our agenda for the week. All right.
Oh boy.
The topic was, and Sam is back. I guess he got into the router. Here he is. We get Sam into the router, and now he's
I
back.
tried to kill myself, but to no avail.
When I kill myself, I want it to be a show.
By the way,
Yes.
I'm sure I'm wrong about what I'm about to say, but I actually, in my heart, I think that Justice Roberts is going to vote to prolong Roe v. Wade.
But he's still in the minority, though.
No. Then it'll be. Am I right?
No, it'll be 5-4. It's 6-3 now. It'll be 5-4 if he goes with the minority.
Not if we kill Alito.
Well, I tell you what, then the
I don't
protesters
approve of death, of assassination.
I don't approve of death either, but they're protesting.
A lot of people out there know I don't approve of assassination.
They're protesting at the wrong house because they're protesting at Chief Justice Roberts and at
Kavanaugh.
Well,
that's because they know there's beer there.
Yeah. Kavanaugh's doing a header on the beer keg, come on,
That's what that's about.
Well, okay. I first of all, my whole take on this, I tried to do some material on it last night. Too soon, but anyway.
Too soon.
My whole take on this is that we knew this was coming. And if we were going to get all that excited about this when the case, we should have been voting. We should have been out there getting people voting and making sure we didn't have this. And it most assuredly means I will never, ever vote Republican again. I was, I maybe only voted for 2 Republicans in my life, and they were close personal friends of mine. But but when they did not let Obama get his Supreme Court justice with, how many months ago was it? Like 10
Merrick
months?
Garland.
Lyric Garland, yeah. I mean, then to rush through Coney Barrett, I mean, that's just, I don't know. And the thing is that they still have supporters. To me, now justifies my reason that I want to call Republicans cocksuckers, because that's what I don't think, when I say a cocksucker, I don't mean somebody that takes a penis and puts it in their mouth. I'm talking about people that would have denied a president his Supreme Court nominee and then rush one in 8 days. That's cocksucking. I mean, that's pure and simple cocksucking.
I've never looked on it.
The figurative.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we lost Sammy.
We're not getting a good signal from you, Sam.
Sammy, we've lost your signal, man.
We're not getting a good signal.
How about now?
Yeah, now.
How about now?
That's better. That's better.
Okay, so I did a TikTok, and my TikTok was essentially this. I'm so tired of hearing people talk about, Democrats are weak. Democrats are really weak. Can you be weaker than a political party that kisses Trump's ass? Can you possibly be weaker? What was the minority leader of the House doing, going to Mar-a-Lago and literally kissing Trump's ass? None of them will defy him. If I was in that party and he said something like, well, he's not very smart, I'd say, you're the dumbest son of a bitch that ever put on shoes. Who are you to talk about someone being stupid? Look at your sons. My God, they're both idiot. I wouldn't stop.
The danger, because, Trump is 73 and a picture
No,
of
he's 75.
75 and a picture of ill health. I mean, he's not going to make it to 80, I hope.
I disagree with you. I'll tell you
Really?
why.
Why?
I'll tell you why. He doesn't smoke and he doesn't drink.
Okay.
Okay. He does not. And he is not in good health, but he's not in bad health. he's not the picture. I think the better way to put it is he's not the picture of health.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's the picture of Dorian Gray.
But boy, Bill Maher thinks he's going to run and he's going to win.
Huh?
He's what happens if you eat McDonald's every day, you know? It's the
He
preservatives.
does.
Yeah, it's the preservatives that keep him going.
What did Bill Maher say?
Bill Maher he's been right so far in all of his Trump predictions as far as elections go. He says that Trump is going to run and he's going to win. And if he doesn't win,
he said Trump is going to run. No. He said Trump is going to run, and even if he loses,
he's not
going to concede.
Right.
But he's not going to be right on this one.
I don't want violence because I know that I have family members that'll die in this because, you know, they might shoot each other because they're so polar on this. But when do we come to arms on this? This is, you know, when would we have killed Hitler?
Because you have to tell you why.
I missed that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Did you catch that, Andy? I missed that.
No, I can't hear what he's saying. It's like you're in space, man.
This is.
How about now?
This is like your signal.
This is ground control to Major Sam.
Ground control.
You can't hear me?
Can't hear you.
Now we can.
We can hear you now, but you're kind of like it's.
Then don't say anything so I can get this goddamn sentence in. So, Jesus, if you two fucking guys are like interrupting me every three, I can't hear you. You're not talking. Okay, I'm better now. Jesus, you have a guy, Donald Trump, who is a punk. Okay, and the reason you know he's a punk is because he goes, somebody punch that guy. No, why don't you punch that guy? You don't, because in the game of cats, you're Mr. Pussy. That's why.
Yep.
That's why.
Here's the big mistake. Let's say Trump is the leader and they have to. Here's what I don't like about them playing up to him. It just gives him more power with his base because they've never had anybody like that. That base has never had anybody like this before. Mm-hmm. And when Trump is gone, it's going to be the guy or girl who is able to out fuck everybody. You know what I mean? Is going to out bullshit, out schmooze, out con everybody.
And that person is Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz?
I was going to say Donald Trump Jr. I was going to say Donald Trump Jr., but Matt Gaetz.
No, he doesn't have. No. I'll tell you why he can't. Because he doesn't have it in him, Trump Jr., to make people go, he said what?
Yeah.
Gaetz doesn't have a governor. Gaetz doesn't have a monitor.
Yeah.
Gaetz will say anything. Okay?
Right.
Gaetz has been accused of having sex with underage girls.
And porting them to another island. And
right. For it. And the Republican Party doesn't pay attention to it.
Yeah. You know, it's just to me, this is the typical, you know, I'm waiting for the devil to come out of the background and ask for, you know, all right, you signed this thing, you know, we got this thing going, so you just turned over your whole soul to me, you know. The whole Republican Party has signed over a soul because it's like, I mean, for crying out loud, for one thing, they gave up the entire republic. They gave up democracy. They gave up everything for one item on the list. And I'm going like, I get it. But on the other hand, it's like, really? You want to sacrifice all democracy for this? You want a dictatorship to get one thing? I just don't understand that. I don't understand the church's mentality.
Here's my point. Show me anybody in the Democratic Party who comes within a light year of having the personality or character of a Marjorie Taylor Greene, of a Matt Gaetz, of a Lauren Boebert, any of them, of a Rand Paul, none of them have.
Are you talking about the guts and the nerve to say batshit crazy stuff? That type of person?
Yeah. I mean, there's no one like that in the Democratic Party.
I tell you what, I I'm not on the leadership, but I'm pretty active in my local Democratic club. And any of those people that come along are kind of put down very early. You can't say batshit crazy stuff as a Democrat. Are you catching that, Andy?
No, can't hear a word. He looks like he's embalmed.
Yeah, I think we need a GoFundMe to get Sammy some new equipment.
So we're running a GoFundMe for Sammy's new equipment. So if you wanted to donate,
Hold on
please
for a
donate
second.
to the.
Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Let's see what happens now.
It could be just the place you are in the house, you know.
How about now?
Oh, we can hear you now.
Hear you now.
Okay.
Whatever
All
you said last time, say it again because we missed that.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I was mentioning. I said that in the local Democratic Party I'm in, nobody gets to say crazy stuff because one, they have to back it up. They have to back it up. They can't. Okay, so what did you say after that? That's what we missed.
What did I say?
You said, "Is there anybody in the Democratic Party that could act like?"
There's no one in the Democratic Party who is a whack job.
Because we don't let them. That was my point. We don't
That's
let
right.
them be whack jobs.
That is correct.
And so what we say is we respect the voter and we think the voter will be able to tell that these people are whack jobs. And we were wrong. We were wrong. Because as it turns out,
that's because the base of the Republican Party is stupid.
Well, it's from all those years of fucking their relatives. You know.
Well, it's also years of religious indoctrination.
Yes,
so,
that too.
I mean, that whole area is a Scopes trial. You know, if you want to talk about the Scopes trial, that's where it all happened in the South. That whole thing is the basis of the thing.
I don't know if you saw Mississippi.
If you can get people to believe that the world is 6,000 years old, then you can get them to believe anything.
Well,
you know?
I don't know if you saw Mississippi Burning.
I did.
Oh.
But Matt Gaetz thought that it was a little too lighthearted.
He thought it was Brother O Art Thou.
That's funny. By the way, you know, it's interesting. That movie is so inaccurate. It's frightening. Because
the Coen Brothers movie?
J. Edgar Hoover did nothing.
Oh.
Nothing to help this cause in Mississippi. Nothing.
The only accurate depiction of J. Edgar Hoover is the one where he was dressed in a dress. I think that's the only accurate depiction of J. Edgar Hoover.
Is that the one that Clint Eastwood directed?
I think so.
With Leonardo DiCaprio as J. Edgar Hoover?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, the good old days.
When men were men and sheep were nervous.
That's right.
That's right. Well, supposedly, but the mob had a control over Hoover because he had a gambling problem.
No, that's not why. That's not why.
Really?
Okay. No, it's because he had a fellatio problem.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, for sure. There's some photo evidence.
And they had a blackmailing, not a problem, but
skill set.
The skill set that included blackmail. Thank you, Sam.
That's all right.
All right. So anyway, we get the leak of the ruling, and of course the Republicans go batshit crazy about the leak. They don't even talk about the rule. The ruling isn't even brought up. It's like, we wanted to spring this on you, but in 3 weeks, and we're really pissed off that it got out 3 weeks earlier.
And by the way, here's another indictment of the Republican Party. Okay, the most moderate, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, the most moderate Republican I can think of is Ben Sasse.
Okay, from Nebraska.
Yeah, and that piece of shit voted for Kavanaugh. So to me, they're all pieces of shit.
At this point, everything is going to be a 50-50 vote, and you got two Democrats that'll jump with the Republicans. That's where we're at.
Until November, because Pennsylvania is going to go blue.
Oh, thank God. Did you hear what happened in Michigan? you probably missed it because it was a very small case, but it was a case where a state rep had to replace another state rep.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And the Democratic woman was running against a Trump-backed white male, naturally, white male for Trump, and she beat him. And of course, it was big news here because it came on the heels of Mallory McMorrow's big Twitter.
I remember that. That was wonderful.
Oh, yeah, she got a lot of attention. She said, now she's run now. She had 2 terms in the state house, and she's in her first term in the state senate, and she's running for re-election. And she said in 3 days she got more money in her re-election campaign than in the 3 previous campaigns put together.
I think that people who keep talking over and over again about how the Democrats are going to take a bath in this next election, I think they're wrong. I do.
Well, I think the rallying point is, of course, this the
Choice.
Abortion issue.
Right.
So that,
I don't think
you can sit on the side thinking, oh, it's always protected. Now it's not.
Well, you know what we're doing in our neighborhood is going back to the people that had told us when we did canvassing that they weren't going to vote Democrats because they're against abortion. We're going back to them and saying, remember when now abortion's not your issue. Now what reason do you have to vote for the Republicans? And see if we can win some of those people back. And they might say, because I don't want them to vote, we don't want them to codify abortion. They might say that, but I think for the most part, they think they got their win. We're going to canvass the neighborhood and see what our neighborhood feels about it. But I'm getting the feeling we might get a few people back that are just sick of the Republicans, but we're only with them on one issue.
Yeah,
they don't want the seas to evaporate and the globe to burn up, and
except for
they
the
still
fact
believe in science.
They might answer you by saying, "Look, let's be honest. I'm a genetic disaster. I have no idea how to vote. I don't know if I can spell vote." Okay.
I tell you what, people that are a genetic disaster do not know that they're a genetic disaster, and if it was explained to them, they wouldn't understand it. So I'm not worried about that.
It's like that. They said it in the office. If you don't know you're the bad guy, you think you're okay. So
that's right.
You don't know who the bad guy is in the office. You always think it's somebody else. So
that's like the old joke about poker. If you're playing poker, look around the table. If you don't see the sucker, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's it.
Now, as the Democrats go, what we've discussed is that, in a way, what we thought was going to happen, like Louisiana now wants to make any death after fertilization, which means the IUD would be murder, and they're going really far. In Mississippi, they're going to pass another one. Texas has already passed. Texas and Oklahoma have passed the worst ones, but it may get worse. But we're kind of seeing how that's going to help us up north a little bit, because we don't have people that want to go that far. I mean, even the people that are against abortion don't want to have girls that got pregnant after they had an IUD installed being charged with murder. That's just.
Do you know who's going to make a fortune off of this ruling?
Chicago.
The airlines.
The airlines flying to Chicago.
Because you're going to have to fly someplace to get an abortion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what else? They're already raising money for groups that'll transport people, getting
That's
volunteers.
Right.
I mean, in Detroit, we've got, here's a funny situation, because some states are trying to pass laws where you can't even go to another state. They're going to see if they can control the body of everybody.
But of course you can't.
No, you can't. But anyway, the closest state to us that wouldn't automatically be, Michigan and Ohio will automatically go to the 1931 laws once Roe v. Wade is overturned. Indiana doesn't have that law because in 1931 they weren't even thinking about that, but I'm sure they'll pass it right away. So Illinois would be the closest state. But even closer than a state is Detroit is 1.5 miles from Canada. And it's only a river that you have to go through a tunnel or cross a bridge to get to. And they'd be more than happy to convert our American dollars into Canadian dollars to perform the abortions. I'm almost sure they'd be happy to do that. And then does it become an international incident? Now do you have to call? Now is a Mississippi Attorney General going to call the consulate in Ottawa, the American to see if they can arrest people in
Well,
Windsor.
The strangest thing too is like Ireland has abortion now. Mexico
That's
finally, I think, passed
amazing.
abortion.
What you just said is amazing.
Mexico,
finally
Colombia, Chile,
Colombia, all these guys.
Paraguay and
And so,
Paraguay
like,
voted on it this year. I don't know if, or they're going to vote.
What's interesting too is that once that's gone, they're going to start attacking contraception, and it's like the contraception is going to be under scrutiny. The extreme believe that you can't even do like the morning after pill, which is there's no option for women to have any control.
Like Maureen McGovern said, there's got to be a morning after.
Got to be a.
Do you remember the movie that came from?
The Poseidon Adventure.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
That's
the Oscar winners in
that's the sexiest the fat Shelley Winters looked. I mean, she was pretty hot when she was young, but once she got big,
that bitch could. Well, I don't know if you remember the critics' review. That bitch can swim.
She could. She could. I don't know if that was a stunt double but they would have to pad up a stunt double if it wasn't her. That's for sure.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh. And Gene Hackman.
You drinking coffee?
Yes, I am.
Are you I can't drink coffee anymore.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, I wouldn't be here if I didn't drink coffee.
Gives me the runs.
It gives me the runs too, but I don't see that as a bad thing. That's if I can.
Yeah.
If I can,
you would if you were in a museum.
I didn't be able to get out of here.
that is true. That is true. I had to take my daughter to a doctor's appointment today, and I really had to go. And so I just drop her off, and then I circle, and I'll be back and get you in an hour. So I circle back, and
so you dropped her off before you dropped one off, is what happened.
Exactly. And so I go back. I go, could I use your men's room? They go, are you a patient? I go, my daughter is. They go, oh, this is highly unregular. I go, well, I'm highly unregular as well. So
let me tell you something. If I asked them where the bathroom is, and they said, are you a patient? And I said, no, but my daughter is. And they went, well, we don't normally. I would shit right then and there on their rug. I would
grab a bedpan and just shit.
Don't you dare mull it over. Don't you dare. Well, you're
Sam, I've said it before, and you've just reconfirmed it for me. I would love to spend it, me and one of or two of my kids, and you and your kid. I would love to spend the day together just to see how similar everything is for us.
Let me give you an example of my kid. Okay.
All right.
I went to the cardiologist today. When I got home, my daughter held up a bag of potato chips and said, this is mine. It is not yours. It is mine. And I go, oh, I understand that. She goes, no, you don't. You see, because you have a habit of going, oh, is that yours? Okay, so I'm telling you now, so you can avoid pain.
Oh, that's funny.
It's actually like being with another adult. With my kid, it's like being.
Yeah, we haven't talked about my girls, but my two oldest daughters are in Fort Lauderdale. They left just after our last show last Monday, and they've been down there. And
how old are they?
20 and 19. And,
okay.
And they went with a couple, another friend that's 20 and a friend that's 21. They needed to get a 21-year-old so they could rent a car. But apparently 12-year-olds can get an Airbnb, but you got to be 21 to get a car.
Yeah.
So
fortunately. Yeah,
I guess they had some problems with their Airbnb, and I said, "Well, were you Ruth?" Oh, we lost Sam again.
Have you ever done Airbnb?
I've done it a couple of times, and I've been very happy with them. Very happy. Yes. The thing, if you ever do Airbnb, Sam, the thing you need to do is read the reviews. And you can, if if there was a problem and they still gave somebody a 5-star review, that means that's somebody that takes care of problems. If you just get nothing but 5-star reviews from people, it's all glowing. That's usually people that write their own reviews and get their friends to put them up there for them or something like that. But if you get somebody that describes a issue they had and how it was taken care of, that's better than a 5-star. If you get a 4.5-star and you get an explanation for the issues, those are very, and that's what we've done. We've gone there. We did both times when we went to Los Angeles to visit my sons. One time we got a place in an old bungalow in Hollywood. In fact, it was the old bungalows, the townhouse bungalows that they had off the Glower studio lot that they used to have contract players lived in, like stars and young starlets, dancers and singers and
nice.
And stuff like that. And so we stayed in one of those because they don't, obviously the studio system isn't around anymore. But the buildings are still there, so we stayed in that. That was kind of fun. But the last time we went, we stayed on a hill out in the valley overlooking San Fernando Valley off the 405, and it was sweet. I mean, it was like a great view, and it was a bitch getting there. And thankfully, we rented a decent car because sometimes I felt like I was going straight up the hill, But and that was a nice place. And when we're traveling here's Sammy's back in another iteration. Got to figure out which one is Sam here.
You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you.
Good. The one that comes up as a picture, I'm saving. The other one, I'm dumping. Here we go.
How about now?
All right, I'm getting rid of the one that's not a picture.
Do that.
All right, that one's gone.
How about now? Oh, that's perfect.
Good.
There we go. But anyway, and that was nice. And then we went down to Orlando one time and did VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner. And we like them too. But that one was like 12 years ago or 14 years ago during the Bush recession, during the Bush real estate failure. And we got a place for 2 weeks for like $700, like $50 a night, and it had 5 rooms, and they were they were looking to get anything for the thing, because real estate values were hitting.
You just reminded me of something very funny. When on the TV show Modern Family,
yes,
when Haley is going to get married. Mm-hmm. To the guy who's a little weird, little dumb, and his mother comes to the wedding, comes to the house to like a celebration. Oh, they're getting married, kind of thing. And she's a very condescending hippie. Okay, that's what she is. Mm-hmm. And Haley's father, Phil, he says. He's a very sweet guy, almost to the point of naivete. But he can't stand this woman, and he's not shy about it. And she goes, where have they decided where they're going to have their betrothal? And he goes, well, we were hoping we could do it in I want to get this right. We were hoping we could arrange it so we could get married in your yurt. Oh God! Is that funny? Oh, is that funny?
That's the type.
First of all, the word is funny.
That's the type of joke when you're at the writer's table. Somebody says, "How about if she wants to get married in your yurt?" And somebody goes, "Oh, well, what do you have to write to make sure that line gets into the show? Because that's just too funny. I want to get married."
Well, I'll tell you a line that I thought was just as good as that on another show, and it's one of the reasons I have so much respect for what's her name? God damn it, Tina Fey.
Yeah.
So much respect for her. Tim Conway. Did you see this one?
I saw
30 Rock.
30 Rock.
Tim Conway plays one of the guys who used to be on the show when it was like supposed to be like your show of shows.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And they're showing him around. And they take him into the writer's room. And he goes, "Does this look familiar to you?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember. This is the Jew room."
We used to call this the Jew room. Yeah.
That line is just genius.
One of my favorite lines is they gave Jenna the line where she was in the movie The Rural Juror.
Oh yeah, the rural juror.
she couldn't even say the name of the show, The Rural Juror, or the name of the movie, The Rural Juror.
Yeah.
What on 30 Rock once again, Alec Baldwin is talking to Tina Fey's boyfriend, Winters.
Yeah.
And he says to her, "Where's your boyfriend?" "Well, he had to attend to something at his job." And he goes, "What does he do for a living?" He manages a what do you call those goddamn things? Oh shit, I'm losing my
beeper?
mind.
Is it the beeper thing?
He manages a beeper store. And Alec Baldwin goes, "Perfect." That's all just perfect.
Yeah, they're coming back. They're coming back, man. Yeah, he's like, yeah.
You know what? My 15-year-old is humming around here. When she comes by, I'm going to ask her. I'm going to grab her and see if she knows what a beeper is. Ask her if she understands the concept of beeping. That would just blow her mind.
I'm going to tell you something. Kids her age don't watch TV.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, I thought it was hysterical watching teenagers trying to figure out a rotary dial. So,
well, that's like from the movie In and Out.
Yeah.
when Matt Dillon's girlfriend tries to call her agent, and they're in an old motel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a rotary dial, and she presses her hand on it. She has no idea how to do it.
I always said Jerry.
And she says to him, "We have to go soon. Come on, I have to shower and vomit."
I was like Jerry Seinfeld's line about how I hate cell phones because you just can't hang up on them the way you want to. In the old days, you end a conversation with them. "That's the way I feel." Blam, down with the receiver.
Well, that they did that on in the movie Terms of Endearment.
Oh, did they? That's so
well, when she got mad, and it was a
cardless
handheld.
phone? Yeah.
And she said, I can't hang up on this son of a bitch." That movie, Terms of Endearment, just for the scenes between Nicholson and Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the film that launched Jeff Daniels?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes.
Launched him? I guess, yeah.
Can you think of anything he was in
it? I think the one that launched it was actually the Woody Allen film, Purple Rose.
No, that was after Terms of Endearment.
That was after.
Yeah, I think, and nobody heard of Jeff Daniels before Terms of Endearment, and everybody heard of him afterwards. So,
still lives in Michigan.
Chelsea, right around the corner.
Oh yeah.
In fact, that's the next town over from where Andy's sitting right now.
That's right. I actually took some courses at the Purple Rose. So
someone asked Jeff Daniels why, and I thought this was such and I always consider myself, and I'm proud of this, very rude. And I thought this is the rudest question I've ever heard. Why would you live in Michigan?
Ooh.
And he said, because let me see, how do I say this to you? Want to. That's what he said.
Well,
he said, because how do I say this? Well, that's like the joke. I love this joke. When you say to someone, "Listen, I'm not being condescending," that means I'm talking down to you.
Yeah, well, Chelsea Lumber and Building Supplies is his family's business, and
is that right?
Yeah, and so what happens is he's not going to go out and act, and once he made it, it was like, well, I'm not going to, I'm not going to stay I can't possibly do you the right service by being in part of the family business when I'm going to be out acting and making way more money. So what he did was he built a
Way
theater
more.
there. Yeah. Well, but he's got a theater there in town.
Yeah.
And of course the theater, they only go to one spot for their building materials.
Yeah.
His family's lumberyard.
Chelsea lumber, yeah.
That's
so,
funny.
Yeah, but the thing is that before Jeff Daniels was a famous actor, everybody in Chelsea knew him as the kid of the lumberyard owner.
Yeah. It's
lumberyard.
interesting. Jim Carrey
Yeah.
announced that he was retiring from shows, retired from acting. And
Lost
a friend of mine says,
you, Sam.
huh?
We lost you again, Sam. We lost you again.
How about now?
Okay, can hear you now.
Good.
All we heard you say, Jim
Okay.
Daniel. You said Jim Carrey announced, and then we heard everything got garbled.
That he was retiring from acting. And a friend of mine, who's an actor, said, "Did you see Jim Carrey? Did you read that Jim Carrey is going to retire from acting?" And I said, "I did see that." He said, "I don't want to say his career was on the downside, and that's the reason he's quitting. But normally, when and my friend who was talking to me looks like Jim Carrey.
Okay.
He said, normally, if Jim Carrey was going to announce he would retire from acting, a guy who looks like him, who's also an actor, would benefit from that. My agent hasn't called me for shit."
Huh.
Nothing. And I said, well, he hasn't had anything significant since, I guess,
Man in the Moon?
well, I was going to say the movie, it's got a very convoluted title.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, he also just recently did
Kate
a
Winslet
movie.
was in it.
He recently did an animated movie.
Well, doesn't everybody do that?
Oh yeah. But
Yeah, what's
I was
his
saying
name?
he was
Chris
recently,
Maloney
but I
does
can
it.
see why.
J.K. Simmons does it. He plays one of the M&Ms.
Yeah.
He does.
Fuck you, I'm an M&M. Getting all howdy about your acting. Goes, fuck you, I'm an M&M. Out of my way.
Boy, what a sadist he played in Whiplash. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That won him an Oscar, didn't it? Isn't
Nope.
that the one that won
Yeah.
an Oscar?
For him, yeah. I'll tell you the line in that movie that killed me. When he browbeats a kid into leaving the band, and the kid was not at fault.
Hey, can you?
And he
can you help me over
says,
here?
and he says,
Have a seat.
he says, "How come you didn't get that note right?" And the kid's looking around. He goes, "What are you looking around for? There's no Mars bar there." Well, he was.
All right.
Oh, what a prick!
My 15-year-old Lillian is here. So hold on, I'm gonna go single
All right.
screen with.
Nerd.
I'm gonna
We're
go
going to
single
ask
screen. with
Lillian
Lillian.
what's up.
All right, so yeah, she'll be able to hear you. So go ahead. Come on over here. Come on. Slide
No,
over.
why? I don't want to be in the.
That's right.
Ew.
We have.
Hi, Lillian.
Right.
Hi.
How are you?
You can see
Oh
what
my
you can see what in the picture.
God.
There you go. All
Lillian,
right, so-
you're dipping your toe in the showbiz water. There's no reason to be shy.
Okay, so we were talking about some of the technology that we had, even 15 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. But have you ever heard of a beeper?
A beeper?
Yeah.
What is a beeper?
You know what a beeper
Okay.
is?
She does not know it. She's asking us what a beeper is. So I'm going to explain to you what a beeper is, and let me see if you would know how to use it. A beeper would make a tone. It's just a little box smaller than a cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
and it would make a tone. And then some of them would have an LCD screen that would be about 8 characters and would scroll either a phone number or a message across. Have you ever heard of these things? Have you ever seen one?
Mm-mm.
None of your friends have beepers?
Why would my friends have beepers?
I don't know. You have one? Who are we talking to?
Like a pager, like a two-way pager?
Yeah, a pager.
Pager.
Who are we talking
Yeah.
to?
Brooke?
Oh, it's her friend Brooke is on the phone and knows what a She calls them a pager. I guess we called them
Pager.
pagers too.
Yeah, actually, I think the beeper or the pager. I think
Now-
doctors
now-
still have to use
Now,
pagers.
who do you know, Brooke, that has a pager?
Oh, my mom.
Your mom, and does she use it? And why does she keep it?
I don't know. She likes to keep things.
Oh, because she's a hoarder. Is she? Is she
No.
no. She's kind of a hoarder.
She's a vintage reclaimer. She's going to sell it as a.
Well, here's the only people I know that keep their beepers are the ones whose drug dealers make them use it because they don't want to be tracked by their phones.
Yeah.
Is that your mom? Is that your mom? Is that your mom? Your mom uses it with her drug dealer?
No.
Okay. You wish. I said, Brooke, does your mom use it? And she says, with her drug dealer, and Brooke says, I wish. Hey, we lost Sam again. All right, that's all we need. That's all we need. We need a young person to tell us if they knew what a beeper was. All right.
Did you ask her about the rotary phone?
Oh, do you know what a rotary phone is?
A rotary?
Have you ever seen a rotary phone?
Like one of those speed dial phones, like where you have to turn the...
Yeah, you turn the. Yeah. Okay, so at least you've seen one. There we go.
Got it.
Because Mom
good.
complains about it all the time.
Oh, I'm no.
Let me play it.
I know we didn't even have phones. I get it. But anyway.
Johnny, what do we have for
I
them?
actually ran in. I think some
Sam-
doctors still use the pager.
I don't know when you fell out of there, Sam, but when I was talking to Lillian, her friend Brooke was on the phone, and she pipes up, "Oh yeah, I know that we call that a pager." And I go, "Who do you know that has a pager?" She says, "My mom." And I said, "Well, the only people I know that still use a pager are those that their drug dealer makes them use it so they can't be tracked by their
I heard
smartphone."
all that.
Oh, did you? And Brooke goes, "Oh, I wish." I wish my mom had a dealer.
From your lips to the dope store.
There you go.
Exactly. Oh,
Got man hands. All right.
Statutory vape.
is that the name of a store?
No, but wouldn't it be a great one?
Well, I'm marking it right now. I'm gonna put in a request for a
Statutory vape.
store.
That's right.
Statutory vape. I love it. So anyway, if we could get back to our Supreme Court rulings, a lot of the pro-choice people are saying that we're being hysterical by trying to say that Brown versus Board of Education and the Loving ruling, which allowed interracial marriage, and the gay marriage rulings are all
In jeopardy.
and all in jeopardy because the Supreme Court ruled without laws on those too, just based on their constitutionality. And
I don't think they're being hysterical.
I don't either. Because
I think those people are nuts. And I think once they have a victory, they'll go after every other thing they can. I don't think they're nuts at all. I think those people are Nazis. And if they all died tonight, I'd be the happiest son of a bitch that ever walked on water.
yeah,
I'd be so happy.
I'm afraid it's not going to be by the hand of God, though. I wish because I wish it would be by the hand of God, but it's not going to be.
Yeah, I'd like it to be like that movie, The Ten Commandments. I love Billy Crystal when he says Edward G. Robinson is a biblical figure. Where's your Moses now?
Yeah, where's your Moses now, Steve?
Where's the fatted calf now? Yeah.
When I was
we got to
This
go
is how
the
you can
calf.
tell-
Yeah, we got to go the calf now. Yeah.
the way you can tell I've been doing comedy for 42 years is I used to do an Edward G. Robinson when I was young. There's audiences that knew who he was when I started. I used to do the line was, "Yeah, I got the cigar now. I'm in charge."
There was
Yeah.
a guy who did comedy, and I was talking to a friend of mine, a woman who came to see the show, and we weren't dating or anything. She was just a female who's a friend of mine.
Right.
And he walks up to her, and out of nowhere, he says to her, "Do you know what Edward G. Robinson's real name is?" And she said, "No." He said, "Emmanuel Goldenberg." And she said, "No one cares." She said, "In fact, if he was alive, he wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But because he's dead, no one cares. You know, Billy Crystal is doing Mr. Saturday Night.
Oh, I want to see that so
Yeah.
bad. I may
Made
come
it
to
to
New
the
York.
middle.
I don't know if it's going to be any good.
Yeah, I should wait to see if it's any good before I make any plans. But I hear that music. I hear that Hugh Jackman's Music Man is awesome.
It is horrible.
Is awesome. I said. I've heard people that have I've run into people that have seen it said it's great.
So they turned Mr. Saturday Night into a musical?
Yes.
Oh my God! The one where he made it to the middle?
Yes.
Isn't that wrong?
Yes. And here's the best part. He's now 1 year older than the character that he's playing, where they used to have to age him.
Oh yeah. Now he
In
doesn't
what?
have to age at all.
Now he's 1 year older than his character. Now they
In
have to-
what?
In Mr. Saturday Night. The character
Oh, that's
72.
funny.
The character 72, he's 73. When he made the movie, he was in his 30s. They had to age him for the current day scenes.
Now he doesn't.
But
He's
now he's
you
that
know,
age.
people don't talk about this a lot because I don't think a lot of people know it. But he destroyed Bruno Kirby's career.
Oh, I think he told us this.
You know that, right?
From City Slickers?
Yep.
Yep.
What did he do to him?
Well, he kept trying to direct him. And Bruno Kirby said, you know, we have a director. We have a director, Ron Underwood.
Mhm.
So you don't have to do this. And Bill Crystal wouldn't stop. And finally, Bruno Kirby lost it and said, who the fuck do you think you are? I've been directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Who do you think you are? And all of a sudden, the guy who was in Godfather 2 and was in City Slickers
Mhm.
and Good Morning Vietnam,
Good Morning Vietnam. Yep.
couldn't get arrested.
Wow.
Could not get arrested.
How about that? My Bruno Kirby story was he was in the green room with Brad Gray, Gary Shandling, Bob Saget, Susan, and me, and we're watching Seinfeld's premiere, the pilot episode of the Seinfeld show. And I remember Gary Shandling saying, when they opened with him doing stand-up and then went to remember the first season, it was his stand-up, and then they did the play out of where the stand-up came from.
Right.
Remember that was the first, before they developed all these great characters, it was basically, here's my stand-up and here's the story behind how I got to that stand-up material. That was like the first season. And Gary's going, oh, that's what I wanted my show to be. You know, remember the Gary Shandling show where he played?
Sure. Love that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name was the writer on that, the showrunner. Can't think of his name now. Shit. But anyway, all those people were in the, and that was on Thursday night when that show premiered. By the time we got to Friday, my mother-in-law show it was in town, and this was the woman who birthed my wife, who never thought that I had a legitimate job because I was doing stand-up comedy. She didn't think that was legitimate. So she comes back it's Friday nights. We're doing 3 shows now at the Comedy Magic Club. So she comes back between show 1 and show 2, and she looks, and there's Gary Shandling, Bob Saget, Dave Coulier, Bruno Kirby, a couple other people, and Brad. She didn't know who Brad Gray was, but Brad was there too. And she goes, "Oh, you are in show business." That was the pinnacle. That was the pinnacle of my career right there. Having finally the blessing and the approval of my mother-in-law. So you are in show business.
Shannon performed at what do you call it? Crackers.
In Indianapolis? Yeah,
in
okay.
Indianapolis.
Right.
This
Sleepner's
is-
Can you hear
I
me, Andy?
lost you, man.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
I can hear Andy. I can't hear. I can't hear.
I can't hear Sammy.
This is where he comes in and goes, now can you hear me?
Now can you hear me? I wonder what it is. I wonder if it's his phone or is it just his location?
I don't know if he uses Wi-Fi
I don't know, but
or
I've moved to
digital.
3 different places.
Do you use
What do you use?
do you have a
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi
or
connection or a digital connection? How's that? What kind of connection do you have?
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
This doesn't
Can you
normally
switch it to
happen with me,
cellular?
so I don't know what the hell it is.
Can you
Yeah.
switch it to the
Huh?
digital? Can you switch it to digital in your phone?
Oh, he's gone now. All right, he's back.
Now I
And
can-
he's back again.
And it's gone.
Now I can
And,
see.
nope, there he is. Oh, there, I can see
now
him
all
now.
of us are in, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I can see you now.
Um,
And we can hear you now.
So Shandling, first words out of his mouth, he looks at a woman in the audience. He goes, I don't want to tell you how big my dick is. I want you to tell me. First words. You can't hear me for shit, can you?
Can you hear
I
me,
can
Andy?
hear,
You can't
once
hear
in a
me.
while I can hear what you're saying. It's like up.
The problem
You-
is that in a sentence of 7 words, we're getting 4. You know, that's the.
Yes.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
Shandling says
It
to
sounds
this
like a
woman in the
commercial.
audience. Shanley says, don't interrupt me. I may have 3 fucking words left. Shanley says to this woman in the audience, I don't want to tell you how big my dick is. I want you to tell me.
Uh-huh.
You heard none
Okay,
of that. did you?
so if it was, no, I heard it. So if it was in the 80s, that would have been thunderous applause, right?
Yeah.
The crowd
Well,
howled.
the thunderous applause came with, this AIDS thing, because this was 1985.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
This AIDS thing, can you really get that from just fucking one guy in the ass? Is that right? You suck one dick and wow.
Wow.
And the other line was, he said, I was looking for a house in San Fernando Valley, and the woman told me the price, and I said, that seems like a lot of money. She says, but it's a spectacular view. He said, for that kind of money, the view better be tits. He died
Gosh.
young, right, Shanling?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
Well,
he did.
he was in
Yeah.
his 60s, but he died in that appears. Apparently, if you don't die at 27 and 33, you make it into the 64 to 68 range. That's the other.
Yeah.
Right, because 33 was Belushi and Chris Farley,
Right.
Yeah.
and 27 was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
27 is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right. The last one that did it was what's her name? Winehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Winehouse.
Died at 27. Hendrix died at 27. Janis Joplin died at 27.
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison died at
Yeah.
27. So you got your 27, your 23, then you get into your. See, and the thing is, 64 to 68, yeah, it's retirement age, but
Had a nice run.
People want to live a little bit beyond that. I mean, yeah, you got 40 years of good work in at that age, but
Mhm.
you still want to enjoy a little bit of your retirement.
Yeah. Want to travel a little bit, see a little bit of the world.
The only place I want to travel to is New Zealand.
That sounds like a great place. Yeah. Is it because
I'd love to see
you want to go see where they shot
Liberty Valance.
Liberty Valance? Yes.
Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
I want to tell you this, and I want to say it carefully so that neither of you are shocked. I have never seen anything associated with Lord of the Rings. I only saw the first episode of Star Wars,
You saw a
and
good
I
one.
wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back if you paid for it. And the reason is not that you asked, but the reason is that I think I told you this. When Yoda spoke, I heard Frank Oz.
Yeah. You're starting a
And
Star Wars.
I couldn't
right?
I couldn't get around that.
Yeah. Star Wars.
It was Frank Oz.
Yeah.
Oh
we
yeah.
all knew that. We all knew that.
The funniest line though was from one of the Star Wars, the one that had Jar Jar Binks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where Chris Rock said, "Did y'all see that movie? Am I wrong? Was Jar Jar Binks picking space cotton?" And then the amazing thing was Jar Jar Binks slapped him.
Yeah. That's a great line. That's a great line. I think every show this year should have a comic getting slapped line. And I think,
Well, we
just,
had it with Chappelle. He got attacked.
I'm talking about open
yeah.
mic. I'm talking about every show. To be a comic this year, I think you need to be in a show that has one line about a comic getting slapped.
The problem
Well,
with that is there are too many people who are eager to do that.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
they're
saying
not gonna-
I'm not saying slap somebody. I'm saying do a line about getting slapped.
All right. So I have a question.
You can't trust comedians. You know someone's going to get hurt.
All right. Now
Yeah.
Chappelle did this at a show. He got attacked with a knife and a gun with a knife on it.
A knife?
Okay. Yeah, there's
It
a
was
knife, a gun that had a knife on it. So he got attacked by this guy who had one.
Like a bayonet. It was a handgun with a bayonet. A handgun with a
Jesus
bayonet.
Christ.
I know.
So here's my question. I saw that Chris Rock said, "Did you get slapped by? Was that Will Smith?" And I don't know if it was actually at the show or he just said it at his show. Do you know what happened?
He said it at the show. He was one of the earlier acts on the show. It was one
Got
of those. What do they call
That's
it?
a hell of a lineup.
It's called. Yeah, it's called. It was at the Hollywood Bowl. It was a bunch of comics that had done Netflix specials. Netflix is a joke is the name of the series that they do these comic concerts and videos. And Chris Rock had done a set earlier in the night. Probably not much earlier because he's a big name too. He might have gone on just before, but he was still in the theater when Chappelle got attacked.
I got a question for you.
And he comes out to help him, and he goes, "Was that Will Smith?"
I got a question for
Is that
you.
Will Smith?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Who's a bigger name, Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle?
Chris Rock.
I would
Yeah.
say in
right.
Hollywood. I would say in
That's right.
Hollywood. I would say in Hollywood, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I'd say everywhere Chris Rock.
Well,
Yeah.
that's like saying who's a bigger name, George Carlin or Bill Cosby? Bill Cosby. I mean, back in the day.
Cosby. But it's
I know.
Cosby.
I know, but you talk to comics, and everybody thought Carlin was funnier. You know,
No. That's asking the question who's funnier,
right?
not who's bigger.
Right.
Yeah. Cosby.
By the way, I might be the only person who doesn't have the same respect for Carlin that other people do.
Mhm.
And the reason is he'd be doing his act, everything's fine, and all of a sudden he goes into that. Why do they call them buildings? They're already done. You should call them builts. And he did about 30 of those. And they weren't funny. And it was so obvious it was just playing for time. And as much as I admired him, excuse me, I thought that was a complete just bullshit. I hated him for that.
Where did you see
As
him
much
do
as
this?
I enjoyed his comedy. I
Where'd you
just
see him
thought it
do
was a
this?
cop out
Where'd you see him do this?
in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. I guess that'd be upset because the story I heard on Carlin that I liked, and I liked this story, was that once he recorded a HBO special, that was his hour. He made them 60 minutes for the moment. One might be 58, one might be 62, but he tried to land it at 60. Give it that's easier to schedule it for HBO. Just make it an hour. And what he would do is he would take 12 months and build 5 minutes each month. And so he would, and so that act that you saw him do on each hour special was sort of, he would just move the clock. All right, I'm going to put 5 minutes at the beginning and take 5 minutes off. And so each of those chunks were like 5 minutes for the most part. I mean, you're not going to time them exactly, but that's pretty much how he worked. He would try to get 5 minutes. So if he taped in June, by end of July, he had 5 more minutes at the beginning of the act and 5 minutes off the end of his act.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm a huge fan of Carlin's. The reason I said what I said was it disappointed me.
Okay.
It was like, what are you doing? It was like that, let's stop.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Because
another thing he did that I liked Sue and I saw him. This is before we were even married, so this was like back in 1982. We saw him at the Royal Oak Music Theater, and this is before he had Dennis Blair and a couple of other. He had music acts, but usually they were at the end. It was comics, but before that, he would have like a band that he liked, and he would introduce them. All right, this band is big in Santa Barbara, but nobody's heard him here in Royal Oak. So, and he would come out. I thought it was cool because he would come out and he would introduce the act. He would come out and he'd do one line, a line he knew was going to get a laugh. And then he would introduce the band and he would say, hey, and I hired these guys. Do me a favor and pay. Just don't talk during their set because I'm not out here.
Well, that's decent.
He said, pay attention to these guys. This is a good band. I really like their music. And then he would walk off.
By the way, speaking of bands.
I thought that was a great thing.
On June 10th, Barbara and I are going to see the following show. The Turtles.
Cool.
The Association.
Awesome.
Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. That guy could sing. Gary Puckett could sing.
Yeah.
And a couple of other acts I just can't remember, but that from that era of the 70s.
Got it.
And Barbara said, well, how do you think it's going to run? I said, I know exactly how it's going to run. Everybody's going to come out and do one or two songs and then good night. Mm-hmm. And whoever is considered the headliner will close the show and they'll do 2 or 3 songs. That's how those shows run.
Yeah.
That's how they do them.
I like those shows unless they take a half hour between acts to set up from one band to the other. I like the way. Have you ever seen Ringo Starr's show?
Yes.
He has his all-star band. So he'll get the principals, like in other words, he would get Jerry Rafferty and Gary Puckett and the guy from Bachman, can't think of the guy's name, from Bachman Turner Overdrive. And you have a bunch of these guys. And then what he would do, all the other musicians would back up whoever the lead was from this one band. So he wouldn't get the whole band, so they'd have to change bands. The whole band would stay out there and then they'd back each other up.
Well, the one I saw was the Spaniels, it's good night, sweetheart. Well, yep. It's okay. And what they did was a group would come out, sing one song, they'd leave. And then, if you had your own guitar, you brought your guitar out. If the drums were the same.
Right.
There was a different drummer, but the drums were the same.
Right. The drum set stayed there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was much more smooth than, you might worry about.
Yeah. Because I know one of the shows that's coming to Detroit this summer is an old 70s band. I think one of them was, REO, Speedwagon Sticks, and I can't remember the third band. But those are the types of shows. When I used to see those in the 70s, it'd be 45 minutes to an hour while these bands change gear. So much better.
Terrible.
If they all use the same gear, it's much better.
No question about it.
But now what? Now in the 2020s, they don't mind sharing gear, I bet, just because they get to work.
Yeah, they're good with it.
Yeah, somebody bought tickets. We're good with it.
Well, I'll tell you what I think is funny. I was telling Barbara this because these bands are a little before her time. Not a lot, but a little before her time.
Is Barbara?
How old?
Yeah,
she'll be 65 in September.
Okay.
And so, is she asleep? God, that's all I need.
That's
all I
need.
Because my life's not different.
Did she hear? She didn't hear that because you said 55. Okay, so let's all agree, Andy. Right? He said 55.
Well, then she knows I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
swear to God, honey.
I love
the same as the day I met you. Yeah, that depresses me too.
Oh God.
I think I told you this. I spent like a half a day watching Dangerfield clips.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
I laughed till it's just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Just so goddamn funny. Oh my God. Oh, I said to the bartender, said, "What do you have? Surprise me. Show me a naked picture of my wife."
So yeah.
Great line. Andy,
I-
aren't you the one that sent me the clip of Gilbert Gottfried at the Friars roast of
Yeah.
George Takei? Oh my God, was that fun?
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh, by
God.
the way,
Yeah. I sent it to you, Sam, too. He had he was doing all the swear
yes,
words.
yes, you did.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
was that funny.
Do you?
It was
You-
funny.
you-
It was funny because I watched it by myself. I could never watch that with anybody else because there'd be some judgmental prick going.
Yeah.
But
How
I
come
watched
he
it by
makes fun of
myself.
women? Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing greater than seeing a bunch of fag jokes laughed at by a bunch of
Yeah.
fags. I mean
Exactly.
that was just so funny.
George
my,
Takei was just
I
laughing his
saw
butt off.
I saw a comic do a bit, and he goes, "You know that my wife ran off with a nigger," and the crowd had a lot of black people in it, and he said, "I swear to God, I was so mad. Oh well, I guess that's what I get for marrying that black bitch."
Did the crowd laugh?
Hysterically. And when the show ended, I said, you had a nice set. He said, every time I do that bit, I always think the possibility exists I'm going to die tonight.
He's
And I
just
laughed
pushing himself on the edge.
I laughed when he said it, but he said, I mean it. I said, then why do you do it? Why do you play, Russian roulette like that? Because the joke is too good not to do.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but somebody's going to be telling that to your coroner.
Yep. Man died for a joke.
I started a joke and started the whole world laughing.
I did a joke at the Comedy Cast one time, and they had to escort me out the back exit. And Ridley calls me. Mark Ridley calls me. He says, hey, I know, he says, I know you're not racist, and I know that most of the people didn't take it as racist, but we had two guys that wanted to kick your ass, and that's why we had to get you out of there.
What's the name of the comic? I'm sorry, please go ahead.
Well, the joke was, I was talking about how my kids, we have a sister church in Detroit that's all black, and our suburban church is all white except for my kids. So I took my kids down there, and after about a 3.5 hour service, my kids decided they're white.
That's
because the white pastor can look at a clock, and of course the black people in the audience didn't like that. But then I went even further, and I said, our pastors decided to do an exchange. For 3 weeks, our white pastor went into the inner city church and preached, and for 3 weeks, their black pastor came out to our church and preached. And it was interesting what they saw as the differences. I noticed the black pastor. When they went back to their respective parish, I called my buddy at the black church. I go, is there any difference between your pastor before and after he preached to the white congregation? He goes, well, he checks his clock a lot now. He checks his watch a lot now. And I get glad. He says, what's the difference in your pastor? I go, he and his wife are on a billboard on the freeway now.
Oh, and that's funny.
That was the joke on these two black guys. Oh my God, they wanted to kill me. They just thought, in other words, all right, you adopted black kids, but did you have to make fun of Jesus? I go, they said nothing about Jesus. I was talking about pastors. I wasn't talking about Jesus. I'm talking about pastors.
What's the name of the comic? His first name is Barry. He's kind of childish looking. He was in the movie That Thing You Do. Barry
Sobel.
Thank you. I saw Barry Sobel have to be escorted out of a club in DC called Eskimo Nels. Actually in the suburbs in Arlington, Virginia. And this is the joke he told. He goes, you know, I think we're a little too hard on the whole thing about slavery. He goes, just because the South fucked it up doesn't mean you'll let a good idea go.
Ooh. Ooh.
And I was in the back.
He got escorted out, huh?
Escorted is not the word.
Yeah.
Shoved.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I was in a band at the time. I was doing stand up and I was in a band.
Uh-huh.
And our bass player, Andy Davis, looked at me and said, "That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard a comedian say in my life." I said, "Well, you haven't seen a lot of comedians." I said,
Barry, go ahead.
I promise you, that's not the dumbest thing I've
That's not the
heard.
dumbest. Yeah. Barry had that great bit about he was kind of making fun of liberals, and where he was giving up the stereotype. All right, I'm sorry.
Oh, I know that bit. Yeah.
Asians are good drivers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. Jews are spendthrifts. Forgive me.
Exactly. I love that. That was such a great bit, though.
Italians hate crime. Yes,
yes. I'm sorry. That was such a great bit.
Oh,
Irish don't drink at all. Sorry.
That's right. You're right. Southerners never eyeball their sisters.
That, to me, that allowed him, because it was such a funny bit and it covered everything. He
got away with murder.
He got away with a lot of stuff. Yeah, that was great.
Oh, I love that. You're right. Chinese people are fantastic drivers.
Yes. Oh God.
Oh God.
So funny. So anyway, I keep trying to bring this back around to this just because I wanted to mention it, because I think we were talking about how far the right is going to take on something. So let's say they get rid of birth control. Then, right, now the next step is people are going to be at either abortion clinics or who knows, maybe nightclubs. Maybe they want to stop fucking to begin with, altogether, right from where it started. And then I think what's going to happen is, I think they're going to accuse women that are not pregnant of being on birth control.
Mm.
And so they're going to demand that women be pregnant to prove that they're not breaking the law.
You know what's going to happen, don't you?
Birth control. What's
you
that?
know what's going to happen? You're going to get about 200 or 300 really angry dykes, and they're going to kill these people who do this.
I think you're right.
They will kill them.
Yeah.
They will leave the bodies at their front door. I mean it. They will. They'll kill them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they'd use the strap a bomb to yourself technique too. But
here's the other thing about that. If the Senate stays Democratic, a lot of what you're talking about can't happen. Won't happen.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance, especially the seats that were given up by Republican senators are in swing states.
Pennsylvania, Ohio.
Yep.
God, the candidates that the Republicans have in Ohio are so frighteningly bad.
Yeah.
I think that Georgia's going to keep their Democrats. Oh, by the way, all they got to do is keep 2 seats.
Yeah. This Democrat I told you that won in Michigan, beating a Trump.
Right.
She won a seat that was not a Republican, that was a Republican seat. So we stole one from the Republicans, but she said it was like 67-33 for Trump in the last election. So, I mean, that's
amazing.
That's a good sign for all of us. And
it's a great sign. Well, one of the things that's happening, remember I was talking earlier about how the Republicans are such punks about him.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing, you see, is they're not telling him to his face, go fuck yourself, you piece of. What they're doing is, I want you to come out with me and campaign. I just can't. I've got some other stuff. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
Mhm.
And in effect telling him no, but not directly telling him no.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when he was in I don't think the candidates that he endorsed in Ohio campaigned with him in Ohio when he did that stop in Ohio.
That's what
I
I'm
don't think
saying.
they were with him. Yeah, they weren't with him.
By the way, he's got a thing on Facebook now, and I've never asked this before, but I'm going to ask it now. This is the last time I'm going to ask you to contribute to my campaign.
Lie.
And so
Lie.
I want to write him a note saying, if you promise to die, I'll give your campaign $100. If you give me your daughter, I'll give you 125. If you beat the shit out of Donald Jr., I'll give you 30. He's not worth the pain.
Right.
He's engaged to that woman, isn't he, Kimberly Guilfoyle?
Junior, yeah.
I have never seen. You know what they remind me of? Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller had a great line. He said, but it was talking about Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, but it relates to those two people. He said, every time I see them, it makes me believe in a higher power. Because only in a world of 7 billion people could we be sure that two creeps like them find each other.
Yeah.
Really.
God, it's just it's unfathomable to me. I can understand Trump because he's got a certain level of charisma, but there's no excuse to have any respect for Donald Trump Jr. Just none.
Yeah.
It's like, what's his name? Eric Trump. People come up to me with tears in their eyes and they say, I miss your dad. Well, you should aim better.
You should aim better.
Right. Very funny.
God, what a collective group of losers. Jesus. That whole and even Ivanka is a loser.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if how much the midterms we can blow the wind out of his sails if we blow him out of the water in the midterms. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I got news for you. If the Democrats break even, it's a victory.
Oh, in any midterm, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I don't mean in the Senate, but in the House. If they break even, it'll devastate the Republicans.
Well, in Michigan, here's the thing in Michigan. The Republicans have gotten all the votes they're going to get because their people vote every time. And we just have to get other people. We have to get the Democrats out. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, you would think they'd be a little more voting.
That's why the Republicans don't want to make easy voting available. They don't want people voting on Sunday.
Oh, I know that. Of course.
They don't want mail-in ballots. We want only voting between 8 and 8 during the day when you're working, so that you have to take off work to vote. So
Yeah, it sounds like Hungary all over again. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, nothing you can do about it except pray for their death.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to go there, but I will.
Yes,
I will pay into the defense fund for those lesbians that are going to kill them. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell you something.
Oh. We lost Sam again.
We lost you. Don't move around so much. We're losing you again when you move like that.
Pee?
No, you can't. Not here.
I have to pee.
Oh, well, do that. Well, and he's taking us with us. I never take you guys when I pee. So, all right. I'm getting to it right. I'm getting to Jim Carrey's last film. Let me see if I can find his filmography here. Last film. It looks like Dr. Robotnik, Sonic the Hedgehog.
That was it.
The sequel. But that was a live action. That wasn't a cartoon. That was an anime. That was a live action.
Live action. Did it? How was it received? Did it actually do any well at the box office?
Shit, I think it won the week it opened. But there's only one film that opens a week anymore. You know, they don't have they don't have 5 films opening every weekend like they used to.
Yeah. Well, I want to see that one, that Chinese one, the Everything. It sounds like a pretty good show.
My wife has been watching. Korean serials for at least 3 months now. She loves those Korean shows.
There was a movie. You lost me again, huh?
No, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Now
There
we
was
can
a
hear you.
movie. This is 40 years ago. Okay, called Rolling Thunder with William
yeah.
Devane,
Yep.
and he
Yeah.
plays an Army veteran whose family is murdered and mutilated, and they stick his hand into the garbage disposal,
Yikes.
and he goes on this vendetta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reviewer for the DC newspaper said it was one of the greatest movies ever made. It was up there with Gone with the Wind. All right. So they
Okay.
asked a guy who managed a movie theater in DC, how did the movie do at your box office? He goes, well, before I tell you that, let me tell you this. It's a piece of crap. He said the first day's take was $8 because one person paid to get in. You remember the movie with Willie Nelson, Honeysuckle Rose?
Yeah.
Do you know how much money that took in the first day in DC? 0.
No.
Nothing. Not a dime. And it had Willie Nelson and Diane Cannon and Amy Irving. And it took nothing. 0. Nothing. Not a dime.
How about that?
Can't believe it. Well, kids, it's coming on that time.
Oh yeah. 90 minutes.
Your sportsbook lets you bet at the speed of the NBA.
90 minutes of fun.
90 minutes of fun.
Oh yeah, we talked about everything.
Well, we're going to do it again next week, gang. Thank you to Andy and Sam for joining us. We're going to start up a GoFundMe for new equipment. Excuse me, Frank. Excuse me, Frankie. I got to tone Frank down here a little bit because he's my bumper music for the end here. We got to get Sam some new equipment so he doesn't fade out all the time. But always, please, if you're watching this, you know what? I forgot to tell you guys, we had 4 viewers last week.
Wow.
That's our highest. We had 4 viewers. And again, because this is just recorded on YouTube, I can't tell who it is. They just say who made it through the whole.
I'm sure it's a government agency that's following us. You know, I'm sure it's a government agency.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
All
right. Well, Sam looks like Sam's already disrobed, so we better end it here.
Yeah, we don't want
before our audience becomes 8 over the Sam nudies here.
Yeah,
anyway, so it's
good night, everybody.
Good night.
Sure, we will see you again next week. So, good night, folks.
Good night, folks.
The higher the top, the longer the drop. Hey, stargaze, jump on it, Sam. Get all over that thing.